Waldersinski from the Brevard Sports Network here live at Camping World Stadium. And I'm here with my good buddy and, of course, BSN broadcaster and reporter extraordinaire, Jackson Robb. And Jackson, before we get talking about college football or anything like that, as Christian Brewery screams over the loudspeaker behind us, your first officially college game as a credentialed member of the media. How does it feel? Because I can remember my first.
It's amazing. The state championship game for Coco is huge, but this for me it's incredible. Just being through here, walking in the gates, going to eat in the media room, walking into places I never could really go, and it's just unbelievable. And especially here, not that far from home, didn't have to go too far, and it's just so exciting. I love it so much, and the opportunity is just amazing.
The free food's not bad either.
No, not at all.
Brisket, macaroni and cheese, and beans, sweet beans. A traditional barbecue, Kansas, North Carolina of a mixture. It was pretty cool. All right, Jackson. Excuse me. We have something here today called the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, this is not a new bowl. It's just a new name. This bowl began in 1990. We have one team that you utterly hate playing out there today, and one team you'll be rooting for out there today. Would you care to take us through these two teams for a quick second?
Yeah, you see this matchup. It's one of the rare top 25 matchups in a bowl game. Kansas State at number 25 and NC State at number 18. You look at the Wolfpack. They've come in, won 5 straight games after starting out at 4-3 to finish 9-3 with wins over Miami, with wins over Clemson, and the rivalry win in their final week of the season. And this is a team that's riding high. Brennan Armstrong is back in at quarterback for the Wolfpack, the Virginia transfer who had a rocky start here. The fan base kind of gave up on him. He came back, led them through these wins, and he's been rolling recently for the Wolfpack, as well as the freshman Kevin Concepcion at wide receiver, a freshman All-American, top 2 in receiving in the ACC this year, I believe only behind FSU's receiving core. And so offensively, NC State sounds great, but their defense is what fuels them a lot. That run defense is stifling, but their Benardrick winning linebacker Peyton Wilson has opted out 3 days ago to go to the NFL. So their best rated player is not going to be playing in this game. But they still have some good linebackers, defensive front. That defense is where NC State thrives, and that's where Kansas State's going to have to challenge it. Kansas State's a team that likes to run the ball. NC State's a team that stops the run well. For Kansas State, Will Howard is out. In is the freshman, top 10 rated quarterback, the highest quarterback. True freshman, highest rated quarterback recruit for Kansas State coming in for this game. He's a dual threat. You heard him pregame. He clocks in at 21 mile an hour. He is a fast runner. Avery Johnson is going to be a big threat for Kansas State. And an unknown, honestly, for the Wildcats, considering he's come in every once in a while this year. He has 9 touchdowns, 3 passing and 6 rushing in the few times he's played. He's going to be a big threat tonight, and kind of a question mark for how NC State challenges that. Kansas State also has a solid defense, but it is this offense that should be fueling them. The problem is they have opt-outs at quarterback, wide receiver, and running back, so we're going to see some new players for Kansas State as well.
Yeah, you mentioned, I want to go back to the quarterback, Avery Johnson. We have seen already in these bowl games, I call it opt-out season. But what we have seen already, Jackson, in the opt-out season is someone like USC's quarterback last night. Now, when you stop and think about the history of USC quarterbacks, it's hard to believe that this kid steps in last night and sets a program record with 6 touchdowns and 300 and whatever yards passing in that game last night, sets a USC record. So just because we're seeing true freshmen and guys that have never played before doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to see good football.
No, yeah, I know the term used last night in the game I was watching, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. It was the Opportunity Bowl. Some coaches are deeming these games. And for a guy like Avery Johnson, the fact that he's new at quarterback for them isn't necessarily a negative, considering, honestly, defensively, there's less out there on a guy like him, a dual threat ability, and at the very end of the year, you get your true freshman in before next season when he would be thrust into a starting role, presumably. Now you get him at a big stage at a bowl game, already starting at quarterback, and you can kind of get a feel for a guy like that before the offseason.
43 opt-out games this bowl season, 11 counting the one independent Notre Dame 10 different conferences, and you get the independent in Notre Dame. Conference-wise so far, Jackson, nobody's really stood apart from the other thus far.
No, the ACC comes in at 4-3. Their most recent game today, Boston College beat SMU last night. North Carolina lost to West Virginia, so they're kind of going even for the most part. Georgia Tech has won, among others. For the Big 12, they're 4-1. Their only loss being UCF to Georgia Tech a few nights ago in the Gasparilla Bowl. Besides that, they've been perfect so far outside of UCF, and they also have Oklahoma playing tonight, so a big day for the Big 12. They also had Oklahoma State win last night, so Big 12 riding high.
Here's an opportunity for you, Jackson. We're at the Pop-Tarts Bowl here today. What's your favorite Pop-Tart?
I got to go with the vanilla cupcake flavor or strawberry milkshake.
I kind of like that. S'mores?
S'mores, very good.
The s'mores or the caramel one. I like the caramel.
I've never had that one.
Yeah,
that sounds
I like
good.
the caramel one myself. There's a look at the trophy on the screen. The top is like a toaster. Yeah, it's. I don't know what to tell you. It's the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and you can eat the mascot.
Apparently, I haven't seen it yet. They've kept it under wraps, but we'll see it here at some point.
Yeah. They want to know, what will the guy that scores the touchdown do today? Will they take a piece of the mascot and eat him? I kid you not. Or will they just spike the football and do a dance? All right, Jackson. The big ones are coming up this weekend. It's the college football playoff. We got Michigan and Alabama, 1-4 at the Rose Bowl Monday, 5 o'clock. I like Alabama in this one. I just don't trust Jim Harbaugh. What do you got here?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, as you said, about that Michigan team. Last year they played a TCU team that went out and get bashed by Georgia in the national championship, but they beat Michigan. Michigan has struggled in the college football playoff, whereas Alabama has kind of thrived in these environments. Nick Saban gets his guys ready for these kind of games. I've seen in the press conferences, Alabama's confident for this game. We'll see. I mean, J.J. McCarthy really struggled last year against TCU. Now he's going to be facing a very good Alabama defense. Jalen Milroe with a lot to prove in that game. I think Alabama could be a nice pick for that one, because I just think for Michigan, you have a lot more riding on your shoulders. Alabama playing with nothing to lose.
Blake Corum, a big factor for Michigan in this one. It depends to what Alabama quarterback we get in Jalen Milroe. Are we going to get the guy that saved the day against Auburn? Or are we going to get the guy that we've seen make big-time mistakes at various times this season? It's going to be interesting. For me, in order for Alabama to win this football game, I think they got to hang around this thing. I think they, if Michigan's going to win, it's going to be big. If Alabama wins, this will be a fourth-quarter football game, in my opinion. I'm sorry, who'd you say you had?
I got Alabama.
Yeah, okay. Here's the one that I guess has Florida State fans screaming and crying. Washington and Texas, 2-3. What do you see in this one?
This one's going to be as offensive as a game as you're going to get. I mean, you're going to see, I think, both teams eclipse 40 points in this game. Washington's offense, Michael Penix, Rome Odunze, and those wide receiving core are going to be huge. Texas has some great wide receivers as well, Quinn Ewers. These offenses have NFL talent and speed all over the field. Not these defenses aren't good, but that's not what these teams are built on. That's definitely not how Washington's won football games. Texas has had some defensive games, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. These teams are going to have a shootout. This one's going to be close, I think, no matter what. Washington's played a lot of top 25 teams this year. Plenty of those are not top 25 anymore. For Texas, though, they finished the year quite strong. Didn't really waver after the Red River loss to Oklahoma. Washington has had some close ones, but they've just found a way to win all year. It's going to be a close one. I see a lot of people leaning Texas. I'm going to lean Washington, as I think their speed and firepower is going to steal this one.
Yeah, I'm going Texas in this one. Now, I will note, Kansas State only lost by 2 to Texas this year. Back to the Pop-Tart Bowl real quick. Kansas State's 4 losses by 1 score or less this year. So Texas, 33-31, beat Kansas State. But anyway, I like Texas. I think they're coming into the college football playoff playing some of the best all-around football of the 4 teams in there right now. Look, to me, the key is going to be that Texas offensive line. If they can protect Blake Ewers in this one and give him time. The massive Texas front, I think, is going to apply pressure against that Washington offense. I like Texas in this one. And we'll preview the national championship game. It draws closer final thoughts here at the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
I gotta say, honestly, here at Camping World Stadium, something I noticed. You look off into the distance as the sun sets, you can see the silhouettes of roller coasters and theme parks and the whatnot. You look over that way, you can see all the buildings in Amway, or now Kia Center, over in Orlando. It's a great venue.
Yeah.
It's a great spot, and looking forward to it. Should be a good one tonight here at Camping World.
Which is why they need to play the FHSAA state championships here, by the way. Kick back, relax. Nobody's doing anything this week. Enjoy the Pop-Tarts Bowl. For Jackson Rubb, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski reporting live from Camping World Stadium in Orlando. Happy New Year, everybody. Your prediction.
Yeah, I think this one. I think Avery Johnson for K-State is going to be an X factor. I think he's going to be able to get into the end zone on a low-scoring game. I have Kansas State winning it 24-20.
I like Kansas State myself. Those 4 close losses, that 33-31 game to Texas. Yeah, I like K-State in this one as well. So, for Jackson Rubb, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski reporting live from the Pop-Tarts Bowl here at Camping World Stadium. Have a great night, everybody.